Hospital. Mr. Shipper has a health problem. I think he's out tonight too. And before that, we'll like to say happy birthday to Miss Melinda Penner today. Yeah. Happy birthday, right? And her birthday here today. On good note there. And would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated, please. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Motion by Mr. Davis and second by Mr. Farrell. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passed. Are there any additions to the agenda or any groups here? I don't see any. Next item is the consent agenda. Hey, Mr. Clark. Dr. Combs sent an email out with a policy on the COVID leave. Local COVID-19 leave policy is 5-3052. And it needs to be an emergency reading done on it. And if there's not any objection, I'd like to move it to the consent agenda. All right. Does anyone wish to remove any other policy from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, do we have a motion to approve it as it's listed? Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Mr. Vincent. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passed. Dr. Bird, Director of Instruction report.
Thank you, Mr. Marty. My report's really short tonight. We've begun a recognition program this month in Tipton County Schools, and we're recognizing a Teacher of the Month. And these teachers are nominated by their principals, and then we have a selection process that we're going through to select one deserving teacher. They're all deserving, but we have to choose one. We have to have a winner. American Fidelity is sponsoring this award, and tonight we have Scott Cartwright with American Fidelity here with us. So Scott, if you'll come on up. And our first winner is Miss Jackie Walker, who is a teacher at the Alternative Learning Center. She was nominated by her principal, Coach Steve Zerhelen, who is also here tonight. And so Miss Jackie, come on up, and her husband, Mr. Walker, of course we all know him, he's joined us tonight too. But Mr. Cartwright is going to recognize her tonight. And Miss Jackie, we just want to say thank you for all you do. We appreciate your hard work. It's just a little special recognition.
Congratulations, Ms. Walker.
Well deserved. She does great things, and Coach Zerhelen wrote a very nice recognition of the work that she does. We just want to say we appreciate you and all of our teachers, but this is your special night, so thank you for all you do. And that is all I have, unless someone has a question for me.
No questions? Thank you, Dr. Bird.
Thank you.
Dr. Fisher, Director of Operations.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I can't beat that, okay? Congratulations to Ms. Walker. Good to see you, Mr. Walker. Want to give just a little bit of an update. Adult education, as far as the grant, we are continually providing classes at 4 different sites, so just wanted to continue to make you aware of that at Austin P. Elementary, Drummond's, Munford Elementary, and also at the Alternative Learning Center here in Covington. And our students are traveling to these classes, to the ones that are closest to their homes. We have day and night classes that are available as well. And we are about to begin Saturday classes to meet the needs of our students. We have many students that are now back at work and desire to finish their high school diploma. And so in order to do that, we're going to provide classes on Saturdays. We have some teachers that are going to assist them because there's such a great need. Our staff has done a great job of meeting the need of all of our students. COVID-19 has changed our delivery model. We do still have some face-to-face, but we also now have been trained to do distance learning, and so they're providing virtual classes, as well as being able now for them to be able to take the actual HiSET exam virtually. So that is a new, something new for us. The Department of Labor and Workforce Development has really done a very great job of training our staff. Since August of 2020, during the pandemic, we now have 13 students that have completed their high school diploma. So we're very, very proud of that accomplishment. In extended learning, the 21st CCLC, our extended learning grant, you may have heard us talk about Project Succeed. We are currently serving 240 students after school. We have 8 sites at 8 of our different schools, the middle schools and the elementary schools. They meet 4 days per week, Mondays through Thursdays. They receive a hot meal each afternoon, so these students are receiving 3 meals per day, and transportation home daily. So when you see the buses in the evening around 5:30, 6 o'clock, that is our Project Succeed students going home. And so we are sending those students home by bus, and that's 240 students that we're serving daily, and we're really excited about that. With school-age childcare, we continue to have 6 sites. We're serving 150 students there before and after school. We're still maintaining that capacity based on CDC guidelines of 40 students at each of the sites. And so just wanted to kind of update you on some of the other things that we're doing in terms of our grants and other programs that we have. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Do y'all have any questions?
Any questions?
I've got a question about the field house, but is that now or?
No, you can't.
Okay. I went there and checked it out the other day, and it's looking good. They're doing a good job. Concession stand looks great. The homeschool gym, where that lean-to, I guess, or where it was added onto, it's leaking there pretty bad.
Okay.
I was there on New Year's Day. We had a little 21-minute run for the New Year.
Right.
And I did want to let you know it was water puddling in that area. So.
Hey, Dr. Fisher, if you'll remind me, I'll
It's all
check
right
with
in there.
Mark. Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
They've been doing a lot of reno to the inside, as you probably saw.
Now this is on the gym side.
On the gym side.
It's
okay.
not on the.
It's on the homeschool gym side.
It's on the homeschool gym side.
Okay.
It's on the
all right.
old side.
Yeah.
We'll take a look.
Okay. I appreciate it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Ms. Sherry's going to come and give you a COVID update at this time.
Good evening. Sorry I missed y'all last time, but I was actually out of town, taking a little bit of a break. So to let you know, so far, just start out with our numbers right now. You know, we always dread after the breaks, what are we going to look like, how are our numbers going? But I've kind of pulled back since Halloween and some 2-week projections or some numbers that we've had ever since Halloween. 2 weeks after Halloween was our worst week. We had like 50-something positive students then. Then right after Thanksgiving, it wasn't the week after, it was the 2 to 3 weeks after Thanksgiving when you start seeing those higher numbers. But that's because people have been home a little while, they're back in their routine, and then they decide, well, I'm sick enough, I need to go to the doctor, and that's when we get those cases. This past week, we had 20 positive students and 6 positive staff. The 20 positive students resulted in 239 quarantined students. So there again, you see those quarantine numbers are still high. Even with social distancing the best we can, we send those home that we think have been exposed. I thought I would have some numbers from this week tonight, but I didn't get very many in. But so far, the ones I've gotten were actually lower than last week in most of the schools. So that's a good thing. I don't know if last time you talked, Sarah didn't talk about the quarantine times. Okay, the CDC changed the quarantine policy where you can do a 7-day, a 10-day, or a 14-day. So we are using that now, and that gets people back to work and back in school a little quicker than doing the straight 14-day quarantine. If you want to know any details about that, I will, but we've had it posted out there for a while now. So that seems to be going pretty good. A little bit of confusion sometimes on the 7-day, but I think with enough explanations and enough people, I think we finally get it right, especially for students. Parents, it's hard to understand that they need to take that student to get them tested on the 5th day. So, but it's working pretty good. As far as vaccines, we were in the queue, we were in phase 1B, and now we're out of phase 1B. So the health department has said as soon as they have more vaccine and openings after doing their 75 and up, that teachers will be back and be called again for appointments. I think we probably have 20 to 30 people in the school system that's already been started their vaccine, waiting on that second vaccine right now. I have a list now of 350 staff members that are planning to get the vaccine. I've been working with the health department and Tommy Donovan with EMA, trying to figure out a way to make that go a little bit quicker for teachers or for staff members so they're not out of school to sit in the line for hours. And we're still in the works of trying to get a closed pod just for school staff to do maybe a 1-day vaccination of those who are on that list. And we would do it somewhere like Brighton High School, do a drive-through, and all teachers or staff members would get their shots in that 1 day. But I was told yesterday that they can't do it right now, but it's still on the table. So in the meantime, all teachers have had to go online and fill out a form to go on a waiting list to be called by the health department. So that's where we are with vaccination.
We're going to take an act of Congress to send the vaccine to the schools and let the nurses give them a shot.
That's another thing we're working on. The schools can actually order the vaccine, but it's about 70 pages of forms and things you have to go through. And the biggest is storage of the vaccine. I was reading that today, and it's a certain kind of refrigerator. It has to have an alarm on it. It has to be monitored. And if you let any of the medicine get a certain temperature, either too high or too low, it ruins that whole bottle. So that's a lot of liability, and we are looking at it. We're going through that because, if we could get that done and they would send it right here, it'd be great. But when our local health department can't get but 100 or so doses at a time, I don't know how we're going to get 350 at a time. So, but we're doing all we can to get them done as fast as we can. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Shaw.
Thank you.
How many students do we have actually enrolled?
We have 16%, last count, I think that's right, Rebecca, 16% of our students are total distance learners. So we have 84% that are face-to-face. Oh, shoot. I don't know, what would it be?
Well, there's 10%, it'd be 8,416.
So like 9,000, something like that? Like 9,000 in schools. Pretty good.
And that's shut off, right? There's no more switching back and forth, or?
Pretty much, yeah. There may be a little bit, but for the most part, they picked what they were going to do second semester, and for the most part, it's going to stay that way, unless there's some kind of extenuating circumstances. We're trying to work with folks, but at the same time, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those schedules are kind of hard to flip-flop back and forth a lot.
It's on teachers to try to keep up.
Right.
With who's supposed to be there, who's not.
So, there's some extreme circumstances that we're gonna look at, but for the most part, yes, they're set.
There are large school systems across the country that students have yet to step foot in a school.
Yes, sir. Some very close to us.
Could you give us an update? What about an update on the devices? Have you heard any more about when they make it?
I will, Melissa. I'll take this one, because I've heard Melissa say it so many times now. I've got it. So, of the 10,000 whatever devices that we've ordered, we're still waiting. We're supposed to get the first close to 2,500, something like that. Those are supposed to be in by the end of January. The other ones, the other 7,500 or so, we're not supposed to get probably till March. We're hoping for mid-March is last we heard, so we hope that happens. But Miss Melissa was talking to one of the vendors not too long ago, and there are a number of ships setting, Long Beach, off of Long Beach, California. There are a number of ships that are just sitting out there in the harbor that have a bunch of devices on it, and they just, everything's so tightened up as far as, the regulations and everything to get them in and offload and all that stuff, that it's just, everything's backed up. They first told us we were going to get them in, some in August, and then October, and then November, and then December, and we're still here with no devices.
So we're later than be here.
Yes, sir. We're ready. I know they are.
So what's the plan? I'm sorry. What's the plan now? Are we gonna try to issue devices in March?
We spoke with the principals, and just to get their input. We're having those weekly Zoom meetings with the principals, and what we basically decided is that if we don't get those things by spring break, then we're going to hold on to them and then distribute them next year. Because it'd just be like you give them out and take them right back up. So that's it. But now in some cases there may be a couple situations where they do need some of those devices, and the principals can do that on their own. But as far as a big distribution of those devices, if we don't get them till spring break, everyone's decided we're just going to kind of keep them.
So the first 2,500, are those gonna go to the kids distance without a device?
The first 2,500 are going to go to 11th and 12th grade ELA teachers' classrooms, because remember, they're the ones that chose devices instead of new textbooks for those situations in ELA. So they'll get those, and distance learners would be first priority. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Ms. Murdock, financial report. Thank you, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Just a few things, but it won't take long. So let's look at the financial report first. So this is for December, and of course you can tell that the property taxes have started to roll in. We collected $12,227,496, 14% of our revenue. It looks like it's a little bit less percentage-wise, but we actually received about $100,000 more in property taxes this December than we did last December. So that's a good thing for everybody in the county. So we've collected 48.6% of our expected revenue so far. Our expenditures for 141, $6,888,689, 7.8%. And our total is 38% of our expenditures, $33,474,184. Any questions about 141? All right, federal projects, 142. They received $781,440.74, 8.2% of their revenue. And they expended $661,887.89, 6.9%. So they're at 42% of their revenue and 41% of their expenditures. 143, they collected $366,234.64, 6.4% of their revenue. And they have, through the months, collected 31% of their total. They've spent $368,588, 6.4% of their expenditures, and the total 34% of their expenditures have been spent. But they're always off a little bit in food service. Any questions about that? 177, of course, we have no income. We spent $32,681.73. So we started off with $819,765. We've spent $471,220. So we've got $384,544 left, and $51,572 is encumbered. And so we've got $296,972 in cash left to spend in Munford High School, Brighton High School, and Covington High School. Any questions about 177?
Let's approve this financial report.
Okay, yes, sir.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial report as presented? Motion by Mr. Burrow, second by Mr. Davis. Any questions about it? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
All right, if you'll look at the amendment, I know it's kind of frightening to see a whole thick one, but it's very thin, so I could get it all on one page. So the writing is a little thin. But the resolution is there that you all approved last month. But I printed it so you could see where the allocations were if you chose to. But you've already approved that 1.3 million, so I didn't feel like we needed to go through that yet again. But if you look on page 2, Dr. Fisher was talking about the adult ed grant, and we added $8,000 to the grant. They upped our amount by $8,000. So that's showing that addition in 46,980. And then if you'll turn the page to page 3, you can see where we're going to move that money. We had to reallocate some of the monies that we already had. So we took $15,000 away from the teacher line. We added $26,300 to the other salary and wages. We have a coach as well as an administrator of the adult ed program, and they needed some more dollars in that line. We took $2,000 away from state retirement because many of our teachers are already retired, and so they don't contribute to that plan. And we needed $200 to help out with Medicare, and we added $1,200 to instructional supplies, and we took that out of the equipment to make those line items even out. So we added $8,000 and we expended $8,000. So there's no change to the budget. Any questions on that? Everything else is blank. But if you'd like to look at where those bonuses are, that's where you can see those.
Do we have a motion to approve the budget amendments? Motion by Mr. Davidson, second by Mr. Clark. Are there any questions? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
All right, and Dr. Combs sent you all a letter or some information about the sidewalk being poured to help the kids be able to walk to Toka. And I need you all to approve our contribution of $10,000 to that project. And I need that in a form of a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead,
I'll make that
Motion by
motion.
Mr. Vincent, second by Mr. Clark. Are there any questions about the sidewalk, finishing it in Toka? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
Good. All right, and then one last thing. You all got the policy for the local COVID leave, and of course the form has to change. So I put a draft at the back of your folder. It just restates what's in the policy and then has them, the 4 different reasons that we're going to use for the local COVID paid leave. And we just need you to approve this. We sent this to Deborah today. She didn't send anything back yet, so there may be a minor change. If there is, we will send that back to you. But if not, we'll just use it as is.
Okay.
But I need you all to approve that.
Do we have a motion to approve the COVID leave request form? Motion by Ms. Roselle, second by Ms. McClurkin. Any questions about it? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Barnett.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That's a quick question of Dr. Combs.
Oh, yeah.
Are you aware of anybody else doing this? Because I think this is awesome for our system. Really.
There have been a number of superintendents talking about doing something like this. Surrounding folks are all doing something a little different if they are doing anything. But right now, the vast majority that I've seen are not doing this. No, sir. And it's been something we've looked at it since we came back about something. We just didn't know how we were going to fund it yet until the recent announcements of ESSER and all that kind of stuff. So we just kind of jumped on it. Yes, sir.
Well, we'll take care of the teachers, Dr. Combs.
Dr. Cole?
Yes, sir. I was going to say something at the end. Number one, I want to say thank you to Scott Cartwright and American Fidelity. That was pretty cool. Scott actually called us and just said, hey, look, we're doing this in another county, one other county, and, what do you think about this? This would be real neat. So we got together on it, and we thought it'd be great. It's another way to recognize, teachers that are going above and beyond. Of course, Miss Jackie was a great first one. She's worked really hard. She does a great job with adult ed and all the other stuff too. So, but I just wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to American Fidelity for sponsoring that, because that's pretty neat.
What's the criteria? How do you do it?
They submit information. I'll let Rebecca talk about that. They submit information through them, and then there's a process for that.
The principals nominate someone from their school once a month, and then we look at the nomination forms and select one each month. This is our first month, so it's kind of a new process, but that will be our process moving forward, at least through May. I'm not sure if it will extend into next school year. We'll have to get with American Fidelity on that, but for now it goes through May, but it's just principal referral.
If we can talk him into it, we'll do it next year too. But absolutely. And the other thing I was just going to say is, y'all are great. I know I say that too much, but I just really don't feel like I do. Y'all are very supportive. The teachers, the students all know it. We were able to get a lot of things done, a lot of things for teachers, a lot of things for kids done, because y'all are willing to look at this information and, give us honest feedback and have a positive thought about it. So thank you for everything y'all are doing.
We thank y'all for giving us good information. It makes our job easier when we have the facts in front of us, so it's always good.
We could just get the governor and the state to feel the same way we all do. I said that out loud.
Anybody else have anything?
We're hoping there's, the 19th, January 19th, they're going to have a press conference. I know they sent some information out today about a few things, accountability, increase in salary for teachers. There are a number of bills that the governor has submitted, and we'll see how that flies through Congress and see what becomes of that. But we'll know more about that soon, hopefully.
I just want to say I appreciate y'all opening schools back up. I know there was a lot of heat, especially on social media, about people thinking we shouldn't go back to school. But I do appreciate you standing firm on that and getting our kids back in school where they need to be.
Thank you. Thank you. That's our end goal. We want them all back as soon as we can get them. So, yeah. Thank you.
If no one else has anything, do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by